Hey, welcome everybody. Thank you, fellas out there who are scrolling and you stop. Ladies, if you called your man and you had him stop and you sent it to him, wherever you might be, welcome to the next 55 minutes or so, maybe not that long. A message from Comeback King Enterprises for the divorced folks out there, men in particular, who are still struggling, trying to find some love, trying to find some peace, trying to finally get back on track from a divorce. Job is good. Can't seem to kind of get the personal peace in order. Still staying up at night. You haven't resolved some feelings in the grieving process. Yeah, the grieving process, man, is kicking your butt, right? Because oftentimes, fellas, let's face it, let's get honest. Grieving is something that we grieve through disguise. Yeah, we grieve through disguise. We pretend like everything is fine, man. We go through life, we're arms back, shoulders up, head out, right, and carrying that load, that unsettledness, man, right? And I want to ask you, when's the last time, right? And it's like I had to ask myself years ago, when was the last time I really looked in the mirror and embraced who was looking back at me? I mean, not glancing like my wife and I were talking the other day, right? About, Alba, Jeff, I heard you saying that, and I have to stop and think about it. We look around the mirror. We don't look at each other. We don't look at the person looking back at us. Yeah, fellas, I'm talking to you. That person that look, can you hold your head up and look in the mirror? And when you do, how does it make you feel? Right? Ooh, yeah, you're gonna find out that there's some gifts around that process. There's some gifts around that practice where you can finally begin to reset and step into something different. So welcome to the free webinar, The Mirror Moment, hosted by myself, Geoff Tyson, affectionately known as the Comeback King and founder of Comeback King Enterprises and collaborative with Conversations with Jeff. And our message, oh man, it's real simple, right? To help transform the hearts, going from heartbreak to healing and sharing pathways Yeah, the same thing. No sound. Man, well, hang in there. We're gonna figure out something. I'm not sure what's going on. So, hmm, 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 hmm. Let me go back in here and let's test this thing out and see what we got now. If you can hear me, let me put thumbs up in the chat. Yeah, it looks like we should have sound back again. I appreciate that, Mr. Otis, my man. Thanks for stopping in too, by the way, man. I know you're doing wonderful things in your marriage, man. But if you know some cats that are out there that could use some love, some encouragement, some support, be sure to drop them in there. But thank you. So I think we got sound again, baby. So, boy, I'm not sure. Let me just check one more time here, man. And look, this is live, so it is what it is. And you know, my team is off, and I just, you know, it's Valentine's Day coming up too, and I'm like, man, let me reach out to my fellas. Let me reach out to, you know, we do work with ladies, but this message is just talking to the fellas today, right? About finding the pathways to extraordinary love, man. Right. So first one, we already know, 3-step process. So let's kind of get moving through this thing, right? We ain't gonna be here long, but let me see here. So who's it for? All right, high performing men who look strong on the outside but feel heavy carrying that load on the inside. You know, fellas, how we do, right? We put on that macho image. We put our shoulders back. We tie our car, get our car clean, and money in the bank, pocket full of cash. What's plastic now going to be crypto soon if it ain't already, right? Come on, man. We got to stay up what's going on in the life in this world, right? So all that stuff, leaders, business owners, entrepreneurs, professionals, fathers, whatever you might be, right? Young guy just getting out of college, getting married, and found himself in divorce, wherever you come to be, it's that. But more importantly, men who are tired of the stinking thinking that's racing in their head because of the unresolved feelings, racing in their head because they haven't dealt with the things that, as men, we oftentimes stuff or ignore or pretend like they don't exist, right? So, I mean, well, you put it in the chat what it is for you. I don't know. I do know, actually. I should say I don't know, but I don't know you. So the comment section is meant for you to kind of help me get to know you. And so, all right, and we agree. And look, I'm going to read this one more time. Men who are tired of thinking are ready for real healing. You got to be ready, baby. If you ain't ready, you know, I mean, you're still welcome. And I'm going to love on you until you are ready. Look, I wasn't ready for a long time, man. I mean, I just was like, I told you, I thought it would last forever. So that was about my thinking, and man, you know, that was all I knew at that time. And so it was tough. So I get it. But anyone ready to stop living as a dressed up garbage can, or already, if you're wondering, people say, well, what does that really mean, Geoff? Well, garbage, right? We know what garbage is. So you got that understanding. So now you're in the garbage can. People put garbage in there. So you just that all your pain and all that garbage of emotional, unresolved feelings and anger and all the grieving things that you haven't dealt with, all that stuff is locked and trapped inside of you, man. You're like, oh, I'm fine. I'm okay. Right? I'm gonna ask you a couple questions on this next one, right? So you already know. We already know where we're going, right? So listen. Let me start with a simple question. I may have asked a couple questions already. Let me start with another simple question. When was the last time you told yourself, fellas, when was the last time you told yourself the real truth about how you're feeling? The real truth about what you're thinking. The real truth about what you've been doing when nobody's watching, right? You know, they have a tendency to grab things to make us feel better, whether it be more work. Well, we're going to talk about what those things are here in a minute. But where are you? Where are they? Because right, told yourself the truth. No mask. Tired. You're in the gym, kind of rebuilding your body, you know, and going through all those things and getting the 6-pack back and all buffed. And now you're ready for some new romance, all that stuff you're hiding from. I'm good. But when's the time you really said, this is how I'm really feeling? Man, you know, I get it. I'm not making fun if you haven't. Trust me, I know the pain involved in that. But it's possible to change. My promise to you is this. If you stay through this piece and you listen to what I'm talking about and you participate, even if you don't participate, even if you halfway listen, if you do this exercise at the end, man, do the exercise at the end, I think you're going to find some relief, right? So in order to heal, a lot of times we say to ourselves, I need to do. And those things that we need to do are, be stronger, work harder, right? I got to get back. I got to pay attention to my job. I got to grow my business. I got to start over again. So I need about, so whatever that might be for you, in order to heal, I need to do. And I want you to write it down for real what that is for you. You don't have to put it in the comment section. You can DM me with the answers to these questions later, right? I mean, I want to be available for you out there are ready to do something different, right? That's really what this message is designed for. Who is ready to do something different, to find peace and begin that journey, that pathway to extraordinary love, man. Right? And that mirror moment is going to be able to get you there, right? Oh, man. So anyway, in order to heal, I need to do this. And here's the next question right behind it. Right behind it is, well, that may be true, what you're saying, right? What you wrote down. And oftentimes, man, most of the cats I talk to are all about those other things on the right-hand column that you just saw. Well, man, I'm gonna build my business. I'm gonna buy another business. I'm gonna buy another house. I'm gonna travel, whatever that might be. External piece of it may be true in your mind, but look, healing. Listen. Healing rarely comes from trying harder. Right? I'm talking about healing now. We're not talking about trying to get more muscle. We're not talking about grinding more business. We're not talking about establishing more ground in the professional world, whatever you're doing. We ain't talking about that. We're talking about healing, baby, in the internal side, right? That heartbreak, man. Yeah, heartbreak. That's a real thing. Fellas. Right? Most men don't need more willpower, man. We got enough willpower. Right? Here's the bonus though, because men need a new framework, right? Because I always like to ask, so if everything's cool, how is everything working for you? And if you really get honest with me, like a lot of cats do, it's like, oh man, it's like, man, I didn't think I was worthy. Is that something you may be hiding behind? I didn't think I could do it again. Right? I don't know how to say I'm hurting. Today, right, I'm giving you a mirror moment, man, right? And it helps you see, right? And that mirror moment, it's going to help you see the patterns that we're going through, right? And the break, the loop, the vicious cycle, that's that downhill spiral that once we start chasing that insanity, we're kind of caught in the grip, right? Maybe we're spending all kind of cash and traveling and just trying to fill that void, that emptiness inside of us. What are you putting inside? That's that loop that keeps running. Can't rest really at night. And you leaders out there that people are counting on you. You're leading crews. You're leading your own business, right? You're a high level executive, or you're an employee. It doesn't matter. I'm not comparing one's better than the other. Wherever you are in your life, we are all leaders. First of all, we are all leaders. You rebuild the comeback. It's time to get busy coming back, baby. It's time to shake off the pain, shake off the funk, man. Right? It's time to do that. So while that may be true, then you can fill in the blanks for yourself. But I would challenge you to really be thinking about getting honest with yourself. Really think about digging into some of these questions I'm talking to you about, right? And taking the time. You deserve it, man. You don't have to stay stuck in the trap. So I'm gonna ask you another question. And this one it seems like the obvious answer. Right? What's the question? Read it. I mean, let's all read it together, right? If I could help you find peace tomorrow, Wouldn't you want a simple way to protect it? And that's a yes or a no question. So what am I talking about? If I help you find some peace, no more laying your head on the pillow, man, and you're racing through the day because you haven't been able to unwind. You're racing through the day because you made some decisions and some choices. Maybe blow up at the boss, or you blow up at your associates, or you blow up at your customer, or you're in trying to do another relationship and you haven't really healed yourself through. So you're taking all that baggage into that relationship. And I'm going to say this too, fellas. If you're in relationships and you haven't dealt with the baggage that you have from the divorce, the pain that you have from the divorce, right? All the unsettled emotions and feelings, you're carrying that into that relationship. And look, you attract who you are. So she might be beautiful, he might be handsome, they may be loaded, they may have all the matching things that you provide. You guys are just kind of cool. Everything's a groovy. Ah! But I'm gonna tell you something. It's gonna show up sooner or later. What do I mean by that? What you're running from, what you haven't dealt with, is not going to go away. All of a sudden, that wonderful thing that you have is like getting on your nerves, or you like frustrated, or you're starting to think about the person that you haven't gotten over yet, and resentment starts to stack. It's all, man, we talk a lot about that in some other conversations, but you know where I'm going with that piece of it, right? So that's the piece I'm talking about. Emotional peace, spiritual peace, man. Right? That mental racetrack that your brain is running through, and that thinking is just pushing it, right? It's reminding you because you haven't started looking in that mirror yet. You haven't started looking at yourself yet. You haven't realized that the real gift is inside you, it's locked inside you. But it's starting to catch up with you. These next couple pieces, these next couple sections, I really want you to really think about it later, and the recording's out there, so if you can go back and read this and take pictures of it if you need to, or reach out to me, we can get you something else. But success won't heal what you refuse to face, right? I always like to say you can't heal what you don't reveal, right? What you're hiding in the dark is going to stay in the dark. You're going to stay in the dark with it until you let it out in the open. And the darkness isn't all bad, man. Sometimes we need to go to a quiet place. We need to shut down all the lights. We need to close out all the noise. We need to find peace with ourselves, man. We need to, if we're moving too fast, we're never going to be able to find the intimacy that quiet brings to ourselves. Self-intimacy, man, where you can really start to look at yourself. Because we're built to lead as men. We're built to lead, protect, earn, right, and be that emotional rock. Man, I'll never forget when I was a young boy. And here's some of you might have the same issues, right? When I was a young boy and lost a loving cousin, man, I saw him one weekend, and I was probably, I don't know, I wasn't a teenager yet, but getting close, and he was a teenager, and we were like first cousins, and we did things together, played football, chased girls, all that stuff, right? And we saw him, and then a week later, I find out that he was shot and killed. I'll never forget this. We went to the funeral, and I'm first time there, and I'm scared. My eyes are, I'm watching my parents, and they were stoic people, and they kept all the emotions, and even mom, right? And I think I might have started to shed a tear or something. And I was told to be strong and don't cry. So what do you do when you're told that? Try to be, and then we learn how to be strong and not cry. We learn how to be strong and deny. That denial is a monster, man. Right? Refuse to face things. And then the patterns become stuff and things, and that garbage can lifestyle begins, right? It's everything that happens to you, and maybe some of that showed up in your marriage, and maybe that's why the divorce marriage ended up that way, or maybe him or her. I'm not sure how it all worked out, but yeah, I do know that denial sneaks in there sometimes if we don't have resolution to some feelings that you're dragging along, right? Healing isn't soft, though, fellas. Look, it's not. I used to think, man, I don't need to heal. I'm an athlete. First of all, physically, I was an athlete, and admitting something was wrong was just not out of the question, right? Let alone being able to talk about my emotional healing. Oh man, come on. What? Anybody else like that? I know I'm not the only one. I know I'm not the only one. But here's something. Healing isn't soft. It's leadership, man. I already talked about it. We're all leaders. We're all responsible for how we respond. We're all responsible for how we act, right? And we have a responsibility to do something different about it, man. So, and I'm gonna ask you as you're dropping in, let me know where you are, and if this is resonating with you, and then if you're interested and you missed some of it, and you want to get a replay or something like that, make sure you drop something in the comments. I'm gonna do that for you, right? Healing isn't soft, fellas. It's true leadership. Vulnerability, learning how to be authentic. Excuse me, authentic. Hang on there. About who we are and how we feel. Okay, so leadership, healing isn't soft, it's leadership. And your comeback isn't just about you. It's not just personal. It explains your purpose. Okay, I wanted to make sure I didn't hack in your ear. Man, I got the seasonal allergies or something. Anyway, I'm going to get through this, so bear with me here. Right? I mean, if I need to stop, I will, but I don't think so. But your comeback isn't personal. It's about explaining your purpose, man. Finding out who you're really meant to be. Finding out how you're going to step into that next part of your life, man, the next season, right? We've got to stop refusing to face the things that we are carrying, and it's starting to show up in our lives, man. Come on. Time to put it down, man. Time to put it down. Healing isn't soft. It's your leadership. Even though you're built to lead and all those other things, man, you can still be that. There's strength in vulnerability. There's strength in humility. There's strength in saying, I need help, man. Ooh, that's a big one. Raise your hand and say, I need help. There's power in that, baby. Now, this one, I want you to read it to yourself, and then I'm going to read it to you. You can't take a look at what that says. You can't out-achieve what you won't heal. I've already been talking about that. It's just not going to happen, right? It will not happen. I don't care how much work you do, right? And that's we're talking about some physical conditioning and all that other kind of stuff that sports is involved in. When we talk about being able to deal with yourself in the quiet times of the evening or busy during the day when you're all by yourself, you can't achieve, you can't out-achieve unhealed pain, man. I know, look, I've told you guys, the person that's sitting here in front of you now, it blows me away when I think about how I was, right? And I was working in this marriage the previous marriage, around these things. But even then, stuff happens. You can't out-achieve what's unhealed pain. You just can't do it, right? And I'm gonna get off of that. I'm just telling you, it ain't gonna work. Performance becomes a mask. We already talked about wear the mask day in and day out. Right? How's that mask working for you guys now? Hey, don't feel. I mean, you can feel however you want to. I guess I'm gonna talk to you about this, but man, I want you to hear me, fellas. We need to take off the mask, because guess what? Sooner or later, that silence shows up, and we're walking around suffering in silence, and silence becomes a prison, right? Traps all of our feelings. We build walls around ourselves. We become isolated and don't even know it, man. Right? Isolated and don't even know it. And that's the prison you live in. And if you're honest, and check this piece out, baby. And I had to really look at this, right? If you're really honest about what's happening with you, with the pain and the feelings that you have, It's been some things that you've never dealt with, man, never processed. And I told you about my situation back early on. For those of you who don't maybe caught this piece of it, I lost a cousin at a young age, and we were like brothers, man, right? We did all these things, and man, I didn't deal with him. And I'm gonna give you just a little something maybe you can relate to. But there was another, so I got a little older, and I was a part of a football team, and one day one of the athletes was killed in a car accident. And I went to the funeral, and I didn't, I went out of respect because he was a teammate of mine. But we didn't get together. I mean, we were actually competing for the same position. I was, and I was a freshman, he was something else, and I should have got anyway. And I looked around, and I'll never forget this. I started to cry, and I couldn't stop. I told you I didn't really care for the guy. It wasn't like we were close. None of that. That's what happens when you don't deal with things. It leaks out. It leaked out, man. I had to get away from that. I was like, well, why am I crying? I told you I don't like him. Why am I crying? Because of some things that hadn't been processed with my cousin. And I went on to kind of hide a lot of other things, just like many of you might be doing now. When my first divorce, I didn't want to accept the fact that it was over, man. That, it wasn't going to be till the end of time. And she would be with other people and all that stuff that goes along with that, right? But we're not meant to live in pain and misery. There isn't an answer for it. And if you're honest, you've been carrying this thing forever. Yeah. So my aha moment came, right, is I flipped my thinking, right? And to help build a healing first approach, man. And it started with the mirror. Right? It started, you have to face the things that hold you back. You have to face the responsibilities that you neglected, what your part of it is, right? Healing first, man. Not the mask anymore. I couldn't pretend anymore. I wasn't. Well, look, I'm not like I got to stop stuff and stop pretending like it's all okay, because I did, man. No, I didn't. But I'm gonna tell you something. Once I realized that the image wasn't working anymore, and I needed to do something different because I didn't like how I was becoming isolated. I already talked to you about that, right? And all my feelings and everything else became trapped inside. It was a bad situation, man. And grinding didn't work. Right, I was a grinder. I was working. I'm rebuilding my business that almost blew up with the housing market crash and some other stuff. And doing something new in the business. I'm learning, I'm stretching and trying to move forward. Moving forward, right? Dragging myself forward, right? Because I still had some unresolved stuff. No image first, not grind first, healing first. And from that pathways to extraordinary love, man. Who's ready for that, right? I mean, I told you I got one promise for you, then, but that's it, the pathway. Helping you see something, helping you understand that you have the power to change, helping you understand that that person looking back at you is waiting for you to come back in that mirror. Oh, man, right? Because when the inside gets healthy, leadership gets lighter. When the inside starts to get healthy, when you really start to deal with the things that are coming up, you don't ignore them. You don't numb them with whatever pleasure that you have, right? Pick one. I can't tell you what your pleasures are, but you don't numb yourself from those things. You stay present in the emotion. Healing really becomes real. Leadership with yourself becomes easier and lighter. You're not doing things that put you in harm's way. You're not exposing yourself to things because you haven't healed yet that are causing you some pain. And most importantly, you're not hurting the other people, man. Right? The mirror moment is the starting point. It just is, right? Healing first. It's time to start putting yourself first in a healthy way, not selfish, not self-centered to where you really have a motive that's not healthy for anybody else, particularly yourself. Right? You're still trying to medicate yourself with something else. I ain't what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. And this is where the comeback begins for real, right? And I'll tell you, I've watched men transform from balled up, curled in a ball, and walking around in silence, because that was me, suffering in silence. That was me, and stopped hiding. Right? Became comfortable with a new way of living, a new framework around themselves and their leadership role and their communication role and their health role, taking care of themselves. I mean, all these things begin to change, man. Let's stop, man. And they would do the work, though. You have to do some work, man. You got to do some work. If you don't want to do the work, I don't know what to tell you, other than we're going to love you until you do. Right? We'll love you until you do. So I call it the mirror moment, man. And it's three things here. It's awareness, and that's what the mirror reflection will give you. You'll begin to look and see. Right? Awareness, release from the vicious cycle and the loop we talked about earlier, and then begin to rebuild with some process, and rebuild with some steps that work. Simplify things, man, that you can do on your own, and you're no longer alone. Right? So come on, man, no longer alone. I work with men over there, right? Off the radar, right? You say, well, what have you done? Well, man, I've been helped by men and worked with men over the last 20 years, at least, right? In this space. And we talk about vulnerability from a leadership perspective, and then always got into the personal side, right? And how are you doing? How is your relationship? Well, right? No, the real relationship, the home relationship, fellas, the married fellas, right? How's that working? Listen, what's it say? Men who don't talk, don't post, don't share, but carry a lot. There is an answer. There is a way out. Right? Safe place, truth, and framework. Creating safe, find yourself a safe place, wherever that might be. It may not be me, and that's okay, but find yourself a safe place where you can speak some real truth, and allow somebody to speak truth back at you, right? That's a two-way street, right? Because that don't do you any good if they aren't able, you don't allow space for them to come back at you and help guide you. The truth will set you free in a lot of ways, man, right? And the framework. And it's about patterns, it's about behavioral pattern recognition and all that stuff that we work through, right? Helping you understand, that the mind, body, and soul lined up together are going to lead you whichever lineup that may look like. However it might be for you, right? Might be come on, guys. It's time to peel off the mask, man. It's time to really start to treat yourself first. And you deserve it. And to forgive yourself. And forgive her or him or whatever your situation was. Because forgiveness is the key that unlocks the door. Baby. Surrender, forgiveness. You don't have to forget, but you can forgive yourself. And maybe never them, but we work with you on getting that figured out. Excuse me. So work, safe space, truth, and framework. So I want to just tell you that, man, your life doesn't have to continue to be where it is today. You no longer have to continue to struggle, dragging that baggage along, man, that unresolved feelings, unresolved emotions. You don't have to do it. It becomes a choice. At first, it's just the way stuff is, and we roll with it. But man, the choice becomes more evident. And the longer we stay in that state, the longer we stay in that state, the less likely we're going to find freedom. The less likely we're going to be able to peel off the mask until something crazy else happens or we find some other things that really aren't healthy for us. Framework, baby. Time to change it. So here we go. We dive deep into all three of these sessions. I'm not going to do that tonight. I'm just going to you see them out there in front of you. You can read them together, right? And it's the mirror moment, right? And it's magical, Right? It's a 3-step framework, man, and you can read them. I mean, face the mirror. That creates that makes you start to become more aware of what you're not doing. First of all, you got to see how you end up being where you end up being and why the triggers and all the other stuff. The awareness piece. Finally, when you say, "Okay, all right, Geoff, I get it, man. You're right. I got some issues. I need your help." Right. Right. And this piece here, man, face the mirror and awareness. Name the patterns, identify what the triggers are that are attached to those patterns, and the story you keep rehearsing, the identity that you've created, right? Because where our emotions go, our energy flows, where our thoughts start, and then the emotions, and then the action, and then the results. Or it's emotion and thought, action, results. Man, got to tell you, it's a very unhealthy space to be in. But you don't have to stay there, baby. Right? Because you can get up now, you grab your phone and really try and look in the mirror. Right? 2, break the loop. To release yourself from the insanity part, right? The spiral that keeps going over and over and over again because of the stories, the patterns that you've created, right? Shame from the truth. To forgive. Grieve. Let go. Man, grieve. There's a whole session around grieving. It's important, man. It's powerful. And I'd like to tell you that the grieving process, there's freedom in the grieving process. There's hope from the grieving process, man. There is regaining an identity. Right? Well, that's number 3, building the comeback. Identity, boundaries. You set new boundaries around yourself and around other people, right? And daily practices. No more doing the things that led you down the road that caused a lot of pain and grief, right? Because you haven't dealt with it. So look, facing the mirror, breaking the loops, and building the comeback. I'm telling you, the first one. If you don't know, put the first one. If you never see me again, and you see this, I want you to try it, right? I want you to truly try it. Say, all right, Geoff, I'm gonna try this stuff, man. I'm not gonna connect, and that's cool. But you'll come back and see me once you try it. Try it. I guarantee you. You try it, man. I guarantee you're gonna find some peace. You might find some tears, some heavy emotions, but you'll also find relief, peace, relief. And you're starting that journey, that pathway to extraordinary love. So as we kind of wind down, I'd like to ask you, has this been valuable at all? Drop it in the comment section. If it has been, I know you've been in and out. You hear the recording because we're going to have recordings on it. If you're not able to get a hold of me there, then there'll be a way you can for sure. Right. And let me know if it's been valuable for you. Hey, Geoff, man, this has been great. Do you have anything else or whatever that might look like? Because, of course, we do. But has it been valuable for you? Type mirror. If you're listening to the recording, type mirror and find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and drop, hey, Geoff, mirror. I saw the webinar. Mirror. I'm that guy. I believe in your promise. I believe in the promise that you're telling me. I believe in what you're saying to me. I tried it, or I want to try it, but I'm not certain. I need your help. Drop it in there, man. If any of this is hitting home, don't hesitate. I'll be running, track me down, right? Don't wait. You don't have to carry the burden any longer than you choose to. Stop choosing to. And this was only, it was less than an hour, man. And so I wanted to ask you want to join me for 90 minutes breaking down the 5 A's to the peace, right? And that's kind of tied into the foundation of the 3 things that the mirror moment gives you. So we really dive into some things, man, and we talk more about that and that part of our session. But if that's what you are looking for. If you're looking for some more, you know that what you've had so far is kind of lighting you up. And you're like, oh man, I'm starting to believe I can get out of this insanity. I can start believe I can start to treat myself first. I can remember when he told me, healing first, me first. Right? New framework, changing the way I'm doing things. I can do those things, right? Yeah, so that's you. Stay tuned, baby. Because I want to talk to you. I'll introduce you to it. I have an offer. Magnificent comeback, man. The magnificent comeback. Not just an ordinary, regular comeback. Baby, you're going to come back magnificently, right? It's a 90-minute live workshop, man, and go over the 5 A's step by step. You know, we spend some time together, and depending on the size of the group, we'll break out in groups, or if it's intimate, we'll huddle up together, right? And do this thing together. Remember I talked about safe space. Remember I talked about non-judgment. Remember I talked about the ability for you to really take control of your life again. And then a 30-day comeback map. We're going to outline a map, right? I mean, I'm not no 60, 90 days, 30 days, man. I'm going to get busy, right? I mean, I'm pushing the envelope here, right? Because if you haven't, I mean, some of this stuff will come pretty fast. Some will take a little longer. I mean, I want to show some magnificent results. That's why it's a magnificent comeback, magnificent results in a short period of time, baby. Right? So that's why I talk about open-mindedness. That's why I talk about being willing to do some work. That's why I talk about, oh man, humility and honesty, getting honest with yourself. And then mirror moment worksheet. That whole worksheet kind of breaks down different practices that you can create, different disciplines, helps you understand, you know, what feelings you might be having around that. Kind of doing some journaling around when you're looking in the mirror for the first time and you have these certain feelings and you're not sure, but you think you know, and you just start to take hold of your life, man. And then we give some prompts and everything like that. But total value of this whole piece is $997, less than $1,000, man. Look, you spend that on the weekend, you spend that on a date, a lot of you fellas, right? So don't hesitate. Don't get caught up on all that stuff, man. And don't remember, when you put yourself first, you invest in yourself, man. But look, it ain't gonna be $997. It's $147. 147. I know you think, man, Geoff, you sure you sure you don't want the $990? Yeah, for certain. But look, it's $1.40, 147, man. And then you register, DM me, and we'll get you set up. But here, look, not just this, right? Because I know that there's more to give you. I know that there's more that you can receive from us, and that be able to, man, really, what did I say about 30 days? We want to push that pedal down, baby. You've been carrying whatever you're carrying long enough, man. Aren't you ready to step into some peace and calm and joy again? I know I was, and you are too. So look, man, we're going to add on top of that, right, some VIP access. Everybody knows what VIP is, right? So look, access to training and recordings, right? So everything that you do, right, you have access to those recordings. And look, a 30-minute, in addition to all the other things, 30-minute discovery call with me, right? I mean, we come in prepared. You come in to chat, and when you leave, you got a roadmap for the next 30 days, right, to feed into that other piece, on top of some other little nuggets we're going to drop your way. And you're going to find out another bonus, a 30-day accountability follow-up plan. And what that follow-up plan means is we're going to make sure that we're going to not only do the discovery call, we're not only going to do the map, but we're going to now tie accountability piece to it. And it's a follow-up plan. Why accountability? Because look, if you ain't, human beings need accountability. Some need less than others. Some appreciate it more than others. But accountability is a key thing, right? We want results. We want you to get results. What am I promising you? The first thing about awareness, man, you're going to be aware of some things. And then you're going to say, oh, I sense myself going down that road Geoff talked about. It's going to happen. I don't have to do that today. He's giving me something I can do. So when I look in the mirror, when I get home at night, I may not be able to have a big bright smile on my face, but I won't have one that wants me to hide because I've done something that caused me pain or caused pain to somebody else. So yeah, 30-day accountability follow-up plan, and then VIP. Listen, we host summits and we have experts coming in from all over the world that are coming in to talk about from heartbreak to healing and pathways to extraordinary love from all over the world with different subject matters, from psychiatrists, psychologists, to relationship experts, to, you know, right? Acupuncture and why that's so relevant, and from even subjects around sexless marriages, right? And if you were in one of those and that ended up being part of the reason why your marriage didn't work out, then have some help around that. And you'll find out that a lot of times it's not about you, it's about the person that's going through it. And unfortunately, you learn how to find ways to get yourself through it together, right? Hey, that's all right. That's why we're here. That's why we're here. So all of that, access to training and recordings, 30-minute discovery call, bonus 30-day accountability follow-up. That's with me. I'm not passing this on to any other coaches. This is all with me, right? And so then the VIP Summit series, the total value of everything we're talking about, right? The 90-minute piece, and this is a $19.97. We're gonna throw this fast action price into your acquisition. So what am I saying to you? I'm saying you better hurry up, because sooner or later we're gonna take this thing away, and it's gonna be sooner than later, right? And this will not be free of charge for you, right? I mean, so look, I'm just going to recap it one more time so you got it all figured out. So what are we doing? We're going, about the VIP and all the bonuses there. And then you ask anybody that works with me, know that you're going to get, man, I'm going to come in there and I'm not going to only meet you where you are, man, but I'm going to have a goal to work with you to elevate you to the point where you have no question about the investment. You're like, man, because I'm going to come at you with a whole lot of love, a whole lot of desire to serve. So the magnificent comeback, 90-minute live workshop. It's all that, and it's the 5 A's, right? And then the 30-day comeback map. That map kind of draws out each day what you're going to do, right? And that map is important, man, because you got, like, when you leave, like today, I'm going to say it to you when you hear this recording, what you're going to do that night. Whenever you get to the mirror, you're going to start. You're gonna think about, how have I been looking in the mirror? Have I even looked in the mirror? You're gonna think about, have I really looked at myself? Have I really assessed myself? You're gonna really think about some stuff. And that alone, man, is gonna say on the next thing you do, that thought that you have that moves in action, that gets you that result. You're gonna do something different. So A's in the 30-day comeback map: identity, new identity, baby. Boundaries to protect yourself and those around you. But the identity, man, that's how, you're gonna know when, identity is so important. You already know that, right? How we see ourselves is how we be ourselves. I know the English might not be right. My mom's rolling over in the grave, but how we see ourselves is how we be ourselves. Aren't you ready to see yourself at a minimum? Being able to embrace change, stepping into something new and different. So this is fast action VIP upgrade, right? We're throwing all this stuff together for you and rolling it in a nice little bowl and putting it in the box and saying, DM me for the registration in the VIP gift. Why am I doing a DM now? Because this is special. When we go to the regular registration package, it's not going to be the same, right? And that, today is what is the day? The 10th of February. The event's going to be the 23rd, I believe. And so you really want to be scheduled in now and take advantage of that. So DM me registration and VIP. Do that now. Don't wait. Do when you hear the recording. Do it now. Send it to your friend. If you can't get your friend, do it. Send it to me now so we can get you paid and on the schedule, right? Because when we release it, it's not going to be. You're going to have to pay for it. And that, even then, it's going to be the value that anybody. I try to get it to where just about anybody can afford it. And no, I don't have any payment plan. And it's guaranteed. Doesn't work. You know, say, Geoff, I did it for 30 days. It doesn't work. We'll give you back your money. Yeah, be glad to. But I challenge you this. What if it did work? What if you finally start to gain some traction? What if you finally be able to reset the crazy in your life? Let's shake off the pain and the misery to the point where you can begin to deal with it like you're supposed to. Like a human being, take off the mask of being the man of all the things that are wrong about how we're supposed to behave, guys. You know, we're supposed to be able to cry. We're supposed to be able to say that hurt my feelings. We're supposed to be able to say, I'm sad or I made a mistake. That's part of being human. And in our community, that's what we preach. That's what we teach. So anyway, let me see what else I got here, man. So you already got it. You already got it. You already know this is a review of the foundational program. 147 gets you the VIP, gets you into all the copies from the Summit series, right? And the experts and really, you know, I guess there's a Q&A, but probably the only question is how do I get to you, Geoff? Right? I already told you, DM me, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, right? Hey, Geoff, mirror moment. Saw the webinar. I'm ready. Right? And we'll get you on the list, we'll get you money, and we'll get you paid. Get you on the list, man. So, you know, I want to wrap this whole piece up, wrap this thing up, and encourage you to whether you join me or not, but it's a no-brainer, man. I mean, you should do that, right? Because people are going to. They're like, Geoff, man, I'm loving this thing. How do I get set up? So now you need to do what you need to do for yourself. I'm going to help you understand what that is. That's to make sure you DM me, right, and say DM mirror moment, and then I will get back to you, send you the registration form so you can get that in there. We can make a note of who you are so that we can get you in this whole thing, man. 2,000 plus value for $147. And look, you're going to work with me, right? I'm not going to pass it off to the coaches and none of that. You're going to work with me on this. This is kind of a bonus space in all kinds of ways, man. And I promise you, like I told you before, that awareness piece is going to shift everything. I mean, you somewhat aware, but if you're really, really aware, you'd be doing something different, baby. So stop it. Send me the DM. I want to tell you that if I can do it, you can do it. You know, and I went from that curled up ball to working on myself and regaining, you know, all the things that I was talking to you about, to where I look in the mirror and love myself and work on myself so I'll be a better partner. And here we are today, man, 15 years into a new marriage, man. I found the woman of my dreams, and she brought to me a beautiful daughter, and we have a daughter, and that daughter now is married with 3 children. So, I mean, I'm the grandfather. Call me Papa. For those of you that want to continue on, it's possible. And we can do this thing together. The mirror moment. It's your turn. It's your turn to be part of the mirror moment movement. DM me now. Send me what you need so we can get you set up. And I believe we can help you. All right. Hey, DM me. Let's get busy, baby. We'll see you. Take care now. Yeah.